All right, so let's just kind of take a peek at one of the foils. This is Lift Me Up with Bright, which is the gold. So let's see, let's peel. Oh my God. You're kidding me. This is the top foil? Ah! This is the most beautiful color ever.
Louder, screaming louder, my superpower. Gonna take you higher.
I'm here with my friend Karma Love.
Hi.
You've seen her before, and we've been together for quite some time.
Definitely 10 years ago, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
you've been my client for a long time. So there's this whole thing where everyone thinks all Asian people need to be ashy. What is your take on that?
I personally don't think I could go ashy. I feel like my skin tone is very like warm.
You look good in warm colors,
I
right?
like warm colors, yeah.
Do you know that's the whole thing? Like everyone for the last decade have been trying to fight warmth. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, like everyone's like, get rid of the brass, get rid of yellow, get rid of orange. Now it's about enhancing things, enhancing what's there. And Karma Love is here to embrace the warmth that is naturally there. So you can see I haven't done your hair in...
It's been like over a year, a little over a year.
I'm sorry, I abandoned you.
Okay, you're busy.
But you grew out well, look at this. So this is your natural hair color. You're a level 2. Sometimes level 2 looks really black on camera, but when there's brown in the hair, when it hits light, it's definitely a level 2. So you can see down through here, this is where we did her base color with the 5BB. Her hair grew out well and it has an ombre to it where the highlights was. We want to reconnect everything because the special day is coming. What is this special day you're having?
I'm getting married.
That's a big deal. So we're gonna enhance her and not overpower her. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes doing something natural is very hard to do because we're so used to like bleaching out the hair, highlighting the hair, but how do we enhance her hair? And I'm gonna show you how to do that today. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You wanna be enhanced?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. I want to talk about the back of Karma Love's hair here. You can see how, even though it's been over a year since I've colored her hair, it grew out so well. It looks like an ombre, like from the natural dark hair into the brown, into the caramelized blonde. And you can see the blonde tones that we had down here is warm, and it looks so well with her skin color. So we're gonna work off of this and not overlift her because she does have a wedding coming up. So let's not overdo this. I want to show you how we could do something a little extra without it being too extra. So we're gonna do the air touch technique. And the cool thing about the air touch technique is that we use the blow dryer to blow out the short hairs, and then you have the long hair remaining to highlight. What we're gonna do with the short hair is, I like to call it mid-lighting because it's not as dark as the natural. It's still lighter, but it's an in-between. So we're gonna mid-light her hair with Midnight Love. The swatch is shown on white hair. However, her base is naturally very dark. So on dark hair, we know what happens. When you try to line it with permanent color, you expose orange in the hair, which will brown out everything. So when you put the red over this, and only using 10 or 20 volume will disrupt the melanin and give red into the hair. But because you're taking such thin panels and you're only doing the shorter bits, you're not gonna see that color going all the way down. It's only there to create contour. And with the highlight, we're gonna use the Lift Me Up Bright. But the reason why I wanna use Lift Me Up is because I want to retain as much gold as possible, so I get to tone it back down. When you lift the hair up warm and tone it back down, cool or balanced, it will look warm but natural. So that way you don't mud out the hair with ash or overlift the hair, because oftentimes when we highlight the hair with lightener, you can't control it. Sometimes you have these blonde pieces that are on the ends and you overlap them a little bit, they become too white. And when they become too level 10 white, there's not enough gold in there. And then you try to glaze the hair, it looks dull. So that's why we want to retain as much gold as possible. So we're gonna lift her hair up with the Lift Me Up Warm. So with that being said, we're gonna start off with mixing the first formula, which is Midnight Love 6. I love this color because it's triple the red dye pigment. It gives that romantic feel. And the name is called Midnight Love, like Karma Love. That's you, like your name. And you are in love, you're getting married. So this is appropriate. So let's squeeze out the Midnight Love. Let's just squeeze the whole tube. The whole tube is 55 grams. And let's do 20 volume because she is a level 2. Equal parts, so that makes 110 grams of color and developer all together. So that's gonna be enough for the low light. So I'm gonna put this aside. That's gonna be our Midnight Love. And you know what I like to do? I like to tear off the tab when I can. can and put it on the tab holder, you know, just to keep my life in check. All right, so the next formulation is the Lift Me Up. I'm gonna put the chart right over here next to me. You have 3 mixing options for Lift Me Up. Right here, you can print this out. You have the original standard lift, you have the extra lift soft tone, and then you have the extra lift max tone. So the one we're gonna use today is the extra lift soft tone. And the reason why I'm gonna choose that formula over the rest of them, because I want as much lift as possible because her hair is very, very dark. And if you look at the physical swatch page insert here, you can see that at a level 5, you're not getting that much lift. And this is all shown with 20 volume. And because her hair is a level 2, you're really not gonna get much lift. I still want to use Lift Me Up because I like the way it spreads. And I also know that I'm gonna have control over it. So that's why I'm choosing to do 40 volumes. So I get to lift her hair as much as possible. So really, I'm expecting this level 7 result you're seeing here. If it's a 7 or 8 result here that you're seeing on Lift Me Up Bright, that's all I want. That's why I'm doing it. I want to enhance the reflection so I can come back and mute the reflection so it looks balanced. And the reason I'm using that soft tone, because I don't want to over deposit too much warmth. I want enough, but not too much. Because if you want more, then you could do the max tone here with the max lift. I only want a soft tone to remain there because we don't need that much of it. With that being said, so we're gonna use Magnum 8 and we're gonna do 20 grams of this. Always measure, okay? That's why the chart is there. So with the soft tone, you can clearly see here that it's 5 grams each. So 5 of the bright, 5 grams of the oil booster. Less toner. Gold is our best friend. Stop fighting it. We live our life constantly fighting everything, trying to change everything when we really need to enhance what we're working with. So with that being said, 40 volume. I know 40 volume seems scary, but remember when adding it to the Lift Me Up system with the oil and toner, it's gonna create that buffer. So it's not scary. Plus she has really strong hair, plus her hair is a level 2. So it's very, very not that scary. As you can see on the chart, you're gonna have 40 grams of developer. Pour that in. All right, we're gonna whiskey this on up. Okay, look at that consistency. It's gonna spread so well.
It does look pretty.
Yeah,
It's like caramel.
It does look caramel, right? Well, that's gonna be on your head because you're gonna be caramelized. All right, and this is gonna be your cherry on top. So this will be our Midnight Love 6. Look at that. All right, Karma, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go, come on. So sectioning is the key to success here because you want to know where you're going. You want to trace out the path that you're taking. So we definitely want a money piece. So when you look at Karma Love's hair here, do you want a chunky stripy money piece? Probably not. So what I like to do is create a V line right from where she naturally parts her hair for the most part. Are you planning to part your hair here for the wedding?
Yes.
Okay, that helps. So right at the point, you're gonna use your comb and then go back because you want to have enough hair here so that way the highlights will pop. Because look, when this falls over, it covers that, but then you have all this length to really showcase the color. So it looks like you're probably gonna need 3 or 4 back-to-back foils. So I'm gonna take the clip here from my gauntlet, clip this back, because this is gonna be the money piece. And we're gonna take that money piece all the way back to her ear. Always look at the length of the hair. Don't look at how you're sectioning it, right? You wanna see it pop here. So in order for this to pop here, you have to take it all the way back to the back of the ear. You have to, because some people's hair is finer around the hairline. So you have to take more, because if you only take this much, look, there's not much going on here. It doesn't pop. So you want to hit it right to the ear so that way you get to highlight as much as possible. Because she does have asymmetry, we are gonna have to take this one further back in order to see this money piece because she has less hair on one side of her head, which is normal, we all do. You always want to take one step back away from your client and look at the whole picture to make sure that this is gonna be enough to pop. So now I can work on the back part in peace. And what I'm seeing here as well is the hair is very long in the back. If I don't highlight this, what's gonna happen is there's no length going all the way down. So if she is in her wedding photos, it looks like her highlight is so disjointed and disconnected from her length, and I don't want that. So I want the highlight to draw all the way down to her length where she's gonna see the elongation. And in the nape, I'm gonna do back-to-back foils. We're gonna do 5 or 4 foils back to back, depending on how much hair she has. So back to back blocks here. And then as we move up to the top, we're gonna space them out. If you look at the back of Karma Love's head, she does have this swirl here. So be very careful not to highlight around the swirl, because if you pick up a slice here, what's gonna happen is this is gonna look like a stripe coming out from the back of her swirl, and that won't look right. So in order to avoid that, let the hair fall naturally. Don't try to be ahead of yourself and start doing the section down the middle, because we're not all even in the back of the head. Everyone's hair is different in the back, so let the hair fall how it's gonna fall. So when you look here, you see how I'm clipping this out the way according to a hairline. I'm not trying to go right down the center. I'm letting her hair fall on this natural fall pattern, so that way I can literally highlight her hair underneath here and let this fall over the highlight. Keep you up. Okay, we gotta protect you. Okay, you wanna put the concentrator up near the rootàge here and blow out the short hairs, just like so. Now, you can see that I blow out the short hairs, right? Now, normally with the low light, I would start the low light here to low light short hair here in the nape, but I don't want to. I wanna keep this hair natural as possible because this hair is gonna be around her face. So the low light is only gonna be up here, and all the highlights are gonna be down in the nape, around the face frame. So I wanna keep this brown when I put the base color on, okay? So you can see the length here is shorter and the length here is longer. And this is where we're only gonna highlight the long hair. And you can see she has more short hair than she has long hair. So this is gonna show you that the highlight is gonna be very, very thin, so it's not gonna be loud. You wanna get your foil board, and then you wanna put your foil flap right over the board, just like so. This helps ensure that there's anchorage and there's no slippage. And when you do color corrections, it really, really helps. Bring the board right up to the head. So you can see how I spoon up the product of Lift Me Up. Now take a look at how Lift Me Up just spreads onto the hair. Now this is the soft tone, and you can see that it's very, very delicate. The tone is soft, there's nothing to be afraid of. So you wanna keep your board there and then overlay the next foil to encapsulate that so that can incubate and lift. And remember, even though I use 40 volume and there's lighten in the product, you're still gonna get like a very soft lift that's not gonna lift you to level 10 or level 9 or 8. I'm expecting the hair to be caramelized, so that way we can tone it down so she'll have a nice warm brown hair color. What you wanna do is take a next clip here. This is very important, that you use the clip to close the bottom foil shut, because when you bring the blow dryer in, sometimes it can blow the flap out. Because some people, they close their foils and it ensures that it doesn't slip sometimes, but still, I like to do foil overlay. So in order for that to stay shut, this is how I do it. See that? So that way that foil beneath, the flap doesn't open back out and your foil is protected. And you can see here, quite clearly after I use the air touch technique, that this hair that's been blown out is way shorter and this is longer. I want you to really take a look at how much denser and thicker the short hair is than the hair that's blown out that's long. When this merge and blends together, your highlight is gonna shimmer. It's not gonna look as poppity as you think. And because of that, right up here through the rootàge, it's gonna blur and blend. What I like to do with this is take the clip here and clip that short hair down so it remains down. When it remains down, you're able to get up closer to the scalp without that short hair trying to come back up, because that's what they try to do. They try to creep right back up at you and get in your way sometimes. All right, so again, always use a foil board. What I find is this last 2 years after being in quarantine and everything is that I became more of a creative colorist. I start incorporating the foil boards. I start to do more different techniques, because sometimes we get stuck in our ways of doing what we know and we feel safe with what we know. Guess what? That's boring. Being safe is sometimes boring. You don't learn and you're not living your best life if you're staying the same. Don't be afraid to learn new techniques, because it would make you love your job way more. If you don't evolve, your clients may move on, and that's very important to know that even in any relationship, if you don't grow together with your client, sometimes you grow apart.
That was well said. I believe that.
How many relationships have you seen that fall apart because there's no evolution?
A lot.
Your friends?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you and your friends grow apart.
Yeah.
Interests change, life change.
Yeah. You're just at different parts in your life.
I was having a phone conversation with my friend, and we're talking about how reflecting kind of hurts sometimes, because you look back at the good times you had and the memories and you cherish them, but then those memories hurt, because a lot of times we keep this guilt or this pain inside because sometimes we blame ourselves, but sometimes no. Things happen and separate us in our relationship for a reason. Have you ever reflect back on something and it hurts?
Yes.
Really? All the time?
Yeah.
Relationships, friendships, business,
Yeah.
everything. It hurts. All right, as you can see here, I finished foiling all the hair down here, and then I also started on this side of the head. I want to show you what I did here because we are introducing the Midlight with the Midnight Love. So mid-lighting is when you low light the hair with a darker color than the highlight, but it's not as dark as the base color. And that's why I call it mid-lighting, because it's not low, it's not high, it's right in the middle. So right through here, what I do is I take an inch spacing between each foil section. And as you can see, this is where her part line is, and this is where the swirl is. So you don't want to bring the highlight up too high. So from this 1 inch, there's the gap that I'm giving the space between that first foil. So right in through here, I take a thin slice. I take the slice. Now with this hair that's gonna become the base color, because I'm gonna put the 5BB and 8BB here. You take out this panel. Okay, there's one slice. Okay, so what I do is hold on to the length of the hair as much as I can in a flat panel. Lift the hair, elevate with tension. Start at the rootàge, blow all the short pieces out, and I go up and down that panel to make sure it all comes out. So this is where the mid-lighting is gonna be. So you're gonna mid-light this short piece. So you're gonna clip the long piece out of the way. So take your clip out of the gauntlet, clip this out the way, and now we're gonna do the mid-lighting. So I choose to do a different foil here, so it signifies that it's a different color. So I'm gonna use the Tang foils here. Feymar made this for me as a gift, and I love it, and I'm proud of who I am. Okay, so you can see here, this is 20 volume, and I'm gonna go straight up to that rootàge. We're gonna put this whole panel in as a low light. Look how beautiful Midnight Love is. So Midnight Love is a red, red, red. It's a triple red dye pigment, so it's very rich and saturated, romantic, seductive color. We all need a little romance in our life. So this is that romantic color that's gonna be that mid-light, and that's gonna intertwine with the highlight. So it's gonna look gorgeous. Now I can take this clip, drop that air touch where we have the length that we held on to. Now we highlight this. Okay, so I know that foils sometimes have a shiny side and a more matte side. I actually like to use the matte side in because it doesn't hurt your eyes. Because if you look at a shiny reflective board the whole time, your eyes can go dizzy. So I always use the matte side up. So here, now this is the highlight piece. Again, this is the Lift Me Up Bright Max Lift Soft Tone. And you can see that it is a soft tone because the gold is softer. Use your thumb here with the hand that you're holding up the board with. Lay it down flat. And again, have your comb on hand to always have the hair spread out and have a little more tension on the board. Because you never know, you think you penetrate all the way through, but a lot of times we don't. Having the comb to just have the hair spread out really helps. And so what I do is I repeat the same technique as I reach the top of the head. Always keep that inch spacing because you want to keep that inch spacing consistent. Now keep in mind, everyone's hair is different. Some hairs are a little bit finer as it gets up, so you have to accordingly switch. Sometimes it's half an inch to an inch. So remember, if the hair becomes progressively finer, you have to work with that. And again, I'm gonna lay the foil down and I repeat the same thing as I go up. Lift Me Up is gonna change your life. So if you haven't used it, you need to get on it now because you don't wanna have FOMO, okay? So we are at the money piece. This is the most crucial, most important part of this whole session. We got done with the back. It seems like a lot of foils, but it's really not. It always looks that way when it's stacked up back here. However, we're around the face frame. I wanna show you how I'm doing it. So this is the whole block that we're planning on doing. I am gonna avoid one panel here because we do need a little depth to envelop the hair. So with that, I always go the hairline. Some people's hairline is more diagonal. Some people's hairline is more vertical. Everyone's head shape is different. So I'm gonna take the first slice here. I wanna show you wanna take a thin slice to get as close as possible to that rootàge area. Take your clip that out the way. And this is very crucial because if she ties her hair back for her wedding, you want to be able to see a little bit of highlight framing the face. So this is gonna push away all the baby hairs. You wanna blow out all those short hairs. So you can clearly see here, there is a bunch of short hair around her face, and here's the long length that you can highlight. Sometimes you just look at this whole piece and you think it's short, but there is short hair within short hairs. So even though this area is already short, you can still highlight highlight it and blow out the shorter pieces. I'm gonna repeat this till I get all the way through this back section here, but you always wanna make sure you go parallel with the section. Swipe it right on the hair. And I stroke and repeat this till I get all the way to this back area. And it pretty much repeats itself. Now, keep in mind, you can choose to do a foil overlay if you want, or you can choose to fold the foil up. Know that when you fold the foil up, that you are gonna get a little bit more lift. And the reason why is because it has closer contact with your skin and there's more heat emitting from your face, obviously. You always wanna make sure that you don't have any ropey pieces. You wanna spread the hair out. What I find is that because their hair is already lighter on the ends, and because I am doing a little bit of overlappage, I'd rather do a full overlay, so that way, even though it's overlapping, it's in the cold shaft, so it doesn't overlift. So what I like to do is put a clip at the top here to hold that foil down, because it's gonna naturally want to slip. So take this clip here and again, dissect the next section and repeat yourself till you do about 4 to 5 foils back to back, depending on your client's hairline. But this ensures that you're able to blow the hair out with ease. And you can see here, short hair, long hair, and you're gonna base the color in between. Now, if you don't want to base the hair, you don't have to, but I definitely wanna base her hair. So again, you wanna do the same method here. Take the clip, you wanna clip down the short hair right underneath it, so you get to hold that down so it's out of your way, so you're not blowing the hair and the foil all over the place. And this is how you're able to hug the face and get the highlight as close to the rootàge as much as possible. I'm gonna repeat this on all the corners and even the hair around the top of her widow's peak, and then we'll be right back to mix her base color. So I just got done foiling Karma Love's hair. Now it's time to base her hair. So when we're talking about base color, we like warm. Normally we always gravitate towards ash, usually because hair already has warmth on it. As you line the hair, as you can see, this is the underlying pigment swatch page. I always do ash because my hair naturally pulls warm. But on Karma Love's hair, she wants to celebrate her warmth. But how do we get warmth that isn't too warm? And how do we get a warmth that is balanced? So here comes the 5BB and the 8BB series, right? So it's brown beige, and then we want the 5, but now we also have an 8. So the 8 mixed with the 5 can create like that 6, 7 in between. So that way we can ombre from root to end. So that way it's not too dark. It's darker at the rootàge and lighter through the end. So we are gonna use 5BB. This is the most beautiful brown beige you ever gonna use, okay? It has that mocha chocolate flavor, but it's not like overly warm, because what I discovered is that a lot of chocolate colors that are out there looks very orangey, where with this, it has like a little bit of that mauve reflection to cool the excess warmth on lower levels, but celebrate the warmth with that touch of mauve. So that way you have a perfect balanced chocolate color. So I'm gonna do 1 tube, which is 55 grams of 5BB. And then because her scalp tends to glow, the hair is newer, fresher there, so it tends to glow. So I do want to put shadow ash in. So this is level 5, shadow ash. And the swatch looks like this. Now, shadow ash 5 is a gray blue base, so it gives you a nice smoked out tone that is gorgeous. We only need a little bit because we're not looking to create an ash color. We're looking to just mute out that scalp area. So I'm gonna squeeze in just about 10 grams of this, so it'll be 65 grams altogether of color. So because her hair is a natural level 2, we're going up to 5. We are gonna use 20 volume. I'm not gonna do 30 because I don't want hot roots, okay? So equal parts 20 volume. And try your best to use the dedicated developer so you get proper consistency and proper performance. I'm gonna go ahead and tear the 5BB tab and put it right here, because let me tell you what, the situation is like when you have 3 bowls of color, I put it upside down because when I turn it this way, it's actually right side up. So I like to put this in because it reminds you which bowl is which, because sometimes when they're in the bowl, oxidative dyes can all appear the same. So I'm gonna do about equal parts 5BB and 8BB. So let me show you what the swatch looked like with 8BB. It looks very, very mauve-y. Remember, this is shown on white hair on the swatch page. So think about this. If you have the gold copper underlying pigment and you put the mauve tone over it, you're not gonna get mauve. What you're getting is a mocha tone. Because the blue inside of the mauve cancels out the orange, you have that little bit of that gray dusty tone, which mutes the color and the brassiness. You have that little touch of that red violet tone in the mauve that ensures you have that chocolate reflection, because it neutralizes the excess warmth while supporting the warmth that you want at lower levels. So you're getting like a chocolate caramel latte color that's gonna be gorgific. So squeeze this out here. This is gonna be the mid-shaft formula. You don't need much of it. You can choose to do equal parts 5BB and 8BB, which will probably give you a results that look like a 6.5 or 7. Or you could do a quarter 8BB, you can get more of a level 6, because the lighter formula will shear it out. All right, so we're gonna do 30 volume, and I choose to do 30 volume through the mid-shaft because the mid area is a little bit more cold, and I want a little more power. So these will be our only 2 formulas as I apply. All right, so let's pull the foils away from the face here so I can have access to what's going on here inside. Now, I am gonna take this opportunity to see how well she's lifted since I last closed the foil, because, you know, Karma Love's hair lifts pretty well considering that her hair is very, very dark, and we know how much underlying pigment she has because of her base color. All right, so let's just kind of take a peek at one of the foils. This is Lift Me Up with Bright, which is the gold. So let's see, let's peel. Oh my God. You're kidding me. This is the top foil? Ah! This is the most beautiful color ever! Oh my God! I'm at loss for words. This is the perfect color. Hello? Do you see this? Lift Me Up saves the day. Like, I'm speechless. You have no idea how beautiful this is. This is the top section, and she's not even done processing yet. There you have it. Now we're ready to base the hair. I'm excited. Okay, so now we're gonna do the 5BB right on that rootàge. I'm so happy because I know she's gonna get that perfect color of her dreams. Okay, so I'm gonna apply this throughout all of her rootàge just like so. Now remember, this one has a little bit of that shadow ash to mute that scalp. And this is where we're really targeting, is that scalp area. Then I'll come back and hit all the mid-shaft area. Make sure you get in between the foils too. That's very important because sometimes we forget to get these in between crevices. That is gonna make sure the highlight blend with the base so there's no missing spots. And then we'll come back in with the mid-shaft formula. All right, so after I've applied the base color, I'm over here with the second formula. I am massaging formula 2 with the 8BB through the mid-shaft here. This is with 30 volume because we need more energy along this mid-shaft because it's away from the scalp. I am omitting the ends, leaving it out. It's up to you if you want to leave the ends out completely and blur it down or apply a demi permanent color there. I'm working my way down because it's a lot easier to apply at the top and then folding it over like so that way I can work my way down. And I always make sure I have each panel flat just like this, so that way I can swipe the product downwards and it looks smooth and the application is even. Never rope it together. And then after that, we're gonna process her hair for 30 minutes and she should be done. All right, so you can see I have Karma Love at the shampoo bowl right now. I'm gonna move all the blonde foils to the front just so it could get out the way. Anything that I feel that has the Midnight Love in it is where I'm gonna pull those foils to rinse with the base color. So I get to pull that out. And you can see it's not that scary red like it appears because it's on darker hair. So being able to isolate, knowing where I put those colors, I get to pull those foils out and rinse them all at the same time. Makes it a lot easier. See this where all the Midnight Love is? You can pull that out because at this point they can rinse together with the brown, but I never want the red or brown to contaminate the blonde because it can sometimes, and then it could, you know, dull out the brightness of the Lift Me Up, the highlighted strands that's been lifted, because we want to keep that bright. Even though I plan on going back in toning it down with a glaze, I always like to lift warm to tone cool because it retains the health and the vibrancy and it looks really, really pretty. So you can see I'm pulling all that out. Patience is the key to success here is what I find. Oftentimes we're always rushing and that's when we get unsatisfied results. All right, time to rinse until the water runs a little bit clear so we don't have to feel like there's any bleeding. Because Midnight Love is very, very potent. It's very, very deep, so rather not take that chance and make that blonde turn pink. And it runs clear pretty quickly, as you can see. Okay, now I'm gonna rinse her scalp like so. How are you feeling, Karma?
Good.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Now I'm gonna let the water run on her scalp so a lot of the color from her scalp would just come running down. And remember, we did shadow her scalp a little bit with the shadow ash formula in there, just a little bit so it won't be too hot. And I'm gonna do this until it runs as clear as possible so that way we don't have to worry about anything. So now is the time to pull out. This is the part we're waiting for. I always love to watch the pull out stage because the pull out game is strong. strong. Oh wow, you can see the lift is even. We overlap the ends with 40 volume with the bright Lift Me Up, and you get that perfect golden blonde. Look how beautiful that blonde is. It's perfect tone, and if you decide to tone the hair now, you can. You could do a wet toner, a gloss over it, an express toner, and it'll look gorgeous. But I like to dry glaze because I would like to mix several different formulas, like a 7 and a 9, and pull through, and I also want her hair to last a long time. Because oftentimes when you tone hair damp, what I find is that it doesn't last as long as comparison to glazing or toning the hair dry. So that's why I tend to do it dry, especially on darker hair types or Asian hair types, because there's so much underlying pigment and it wants to revert back to being warm. So that's why I always do the approach of a dry glazing to ensure the pigment lasts as long as possible. Sometimes I even double tone their hair. I always say lift warm to tone cool, so there is balance. As you can see when I rinse her hair, look how light that contrast is. That hair is like literally almost like level 10. Look at this. In contrast, it's so beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and put that Olaplex on. I always like to use the Olaplex number 2 during this time because what I find is that it does close the cuticle because the pH of Olaplex number 2, which you see here, does have a pH of 3.5. So it does close the cuticle, which is what I need right now. So that way it also not only closes the cuticle, but retain the strength and repair the hair and the broken bonds in the hair from lifting. Okay, so you can see the highlights next to her base color. That's very, very light. That's why I say when you first pull out, it looks warm because of the tone, but notice that reflection. It's like the perfect warmth. It's bright blonde, but it looks toned. It doesn't look raw. It doesn't look brassy. It looks controlled and it's gorgeous. All right, so we're gonna go in with Tang, my Confidant Color Secure Shampoo. You're gonna love this shampoo. One, it smells amazing and it brings clarity to the hair. So your hair not only feels cleaner longer, but it lets the color shine through. Okay, so the next step that's very crucial after you rinse out the shampoo is the Tang My Hero Collagen Spray. This is the X2. This ensures you close the cuticle, soften the hair. After color, spray this on the hair thoroughly and you feel the hair will feel soft instantly on contact. Okay, so after you mist this on throughout the hair, massage it in, and then you're gonna put the My Confidant Color Securing Conditioner right over the top and let that sit for another 3 minutes. So this is the My Confidant Color Securing Conditioner. It's in my hand right now and apply through the mids and ends. This is gonna be gorgeous. I'm gonna rinse her out and then we'll be back. And we're back. So we're gonna glaze her one more time, but I wanna show you how crazy this color looks without glazing. So remember we skipped an inch and slice the low light and highlight at the same time. So take a look at this color. You see that Midnight Love low light in between with the shorter strands right in through there. And look at the Lift Me Up Bright highlight. Seriously, look at those shimmers of colors going through with Lift Me Up Bright. Who would have thought? The gold in the bright Lift Me Up ensures that you retain that brightness in between. Now, I could stop here if I want to, but I'm not going to. I want to glaze her hair because I wanted to enrich it just a little bit more, but you can look at that tone, how far it lifted that dark hair, and look at her brown hair. It gives that chocolate base color that looked just so gorgeous. So her base has been lifted with that BB series, and you can see the BB look so beautiful running through there, but the highlight dimension, that contrast is insane, especially on dark level 2 Asian hair. You can see all of that shimmer. And because we skip the inch in between, you let the base shine. So imagine we highlight her whole head with this. You can imagine how bright that blonde will look, but most importantly, just that little bit of low light right in through here, right in through there with Midnight Love, it ensures that you get to see that little bit of definition. So it gives it that cherry Coke feel with a little bit of that, like a little vanilla frosting on the top. I just love that highlight through there, so I just can't help but to keep stroking her hair. So here's the front of Karma Love's hair. You can see that bright money piece. You can see the definition, the highlights, because that's what we want. Now I'm gonna glaze her back down. And I know it sounds crazy to lift someone up and don't tone them with the shampoo bowl because we're so used to toning everybody wet, but trust me, this is the in-between process. It's almost like when you do the Super Power Direct Dye Fantasy Color, you lift them up and then you dry their hair and apply the fantasy colors. You have to think of Demi Permanent Toning the same way. So now that I'm looking at her hair, assessing it, I go, wow, her hair lifted beyond my dreams. I didn't even think it was gonna lift this far because I know that Lift Me Up is amazing, but I was like, man, it lifted and it still feels so soft and healthy. So now I'm gonna go in thinking I'm gonna mix mix Naked Glow because we want that warmth in there. So I'm gonna mix NakedGlow7, NakedGlow9 with 7BB and 9BB. So I'm gonna put that glow and BB together so that we retain that warmth. But look how beautiful that is. It lifted. Okay, we're excited. We're gonna go mix the color now. You ready, Karma Love?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. The color results is insane how far LiftMeUp lifted your hair. I mean, it got her hair really blonde. This is no joke. We did the max lift, hello, with the soft tone. So you can see with the maximum tone, you're gonna bring out the gold, but we did the soft tone. So the soft tone allow the lightener to cut through and have more power and potency while retaining a little bit of that gold so it's bright. So if you want a higher concentration, you could do the max lift and max tone, but I did the soft tone. So you can see the results here on dark Asian hair types. But I mean, that money piece is no joke, but we do want to tone it down. She do have wedding photos to do. So we're gonna do the BB series mixed with the Naked Glow. Okay, so the first formula I want to create is a shallow rootàge. Now, when you look down, she really doesn't need a shallow rootàge, but for the money piece, I do want to soften them with a little shallow rootàge. You can see the highlights are blurring right at that rootàge. You can see the highlight with the Midlight, with the Midnight Love together. Look how that red, romantic red shimmer through that blonde in that vertical color placement. So you can see the stripe coming through, and that is just gorgeous, right? And the way we overlaid it to where the veil falls over, so you don't see that highlight, but when you open up down here, you can see the highlight dimension and the definition come through in the ends. We want to diffuse it a little bit more so it looks a little bit more caramelized. So we're gonna squeeze a full tube of Naked Glow 7. Naked Glow is a gold beige base. It's beautiful. It has a flesh light gold tone. Gorgeous. I love Naked Glow. Naked Glow mixes well with the 7CRC. It brings out the copper tones if you wanted to. It mixes well with the BB. We're gonna grab the 7BB, stands for brown beige. We're gonna squeeze a full tube of this too. Now, you don't have to mix as much as me. She has plenty of hair in the back, so I just wanna make sure we don't have to remix. Okay, full tube here for the shallow rootàge. Okay, so the cool thing about Tang Mydentity is you mix it 1:2 ratio with 6 volume, the dedicated developer, so the color goes a long ways. 1 to 2 parts. Ooh, yes. Yes, darling, yes. So that's formula 1. That's gonna be the shallow rootàge, and I'm gonna tear off that tab to ensure that that's gonna be the darker formula. Now, sometimes you might go, why would you lift the hair up high to deposit down low? Keep in mind, this is a shallow rootàge, and over time, toners wear off. So I want to go dark enough, so if I don't see her in a year or a couple months, what happens when that toner wears off, it still creates that shallow blur, so it looks natural. So a little bit darker doesn't hurt. Now we're gonna go with the lighter formula. The lighter formula is gonna be Naked Glow 9. Again, it's a gold beige formula. That's a nice blush beige tone. So it's like almost like a fleshy gold. Naked Glow 9. This is gonna be around the ends in the mid shaft. And we're gonna color melt it through, so in between there's gonna be like a little 8 fusion, okay? All right, so we're gonna put in 9BB mixed with that Naked Glow 9 is gonna be gorgific. I go through these colors like water. I love the BB series. I love Naked Glow. All right, 1:2 ratio with 6 volume. And the best part about Tang Mydentity Demi Permanent Color is that it is acidic, so it closes the cuticle. So what you're gonna love about using it is that you find the hair feels softer and healthier afterwards because of the gloss. It closes the cuticle and adds so much shine. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go, let's go. You ready, Karma?
I'm ready.
All right, as much as I love the results already, we're gonna go in with that Naked Glow 7 and 7BB. So I'm gonna put it all the way up to that money piece because we wanna shadow down that money piece just a little bit. When applying the Demi Permanent Color Gloss over all of it, the entire hair, what's really unique is that the highlights are toned, but the base gets shinier. And then the Midnight Love Red, it infuses it with more richness. So it brings out that chocolatey tone to it. So color on color is very, very normal. Okay, so we're gonna apply this throughout. You can see here where that highlight contrast is. Because we did the air touch technique, you don't see the stitch mark. It still blends. I like to take it one step further and blend it further more. And you can see that the Midnight Love only adds into that chocolate cherry flavor. It doesn't overpower, it just gives it more richness. And that's something we always have to think about. And the cool thing is to see warm colors coming back in is so exciting for us in the salon because one, it keeps the hair healthier and we don't have to overlift the clients, so it retains a lot more shine. And it's a lot more fun to be able to play with so many different shades of like chocolate, cherry, maple syrup, honey, pumpkin, these type of tones, cinnamon, you name it, it all comes together and it's easy to merge and blend them. All right, so I'm gonna apply this throughout. throughout, and then I'm gonna come in with a second formulation.
It's too gray. Questions turn into answers. It's midnight, forever after. Rising from your disasters. It's midnight, forever after. It's the end, it's the beginning, it's the end, it's the beginning, it's the end.
All right, we are done with Karma Love's hair. It's gorgeous. It has that chocolate, caramel, raspberry drizzle, cherry on top moment. She looks like a dessert. It's the most beautiful brown color you'll ever see. Like when she turns her head in certain areas, you can see that midlight, midnight love really pop through. It looks so romantic. It teases you with that little bit of that cherry on top. And the money piece, can we talk about the money piece? The money piece looks gorgeous. The money piece frames her face perfectly. What you love is that lift me up, okay? You're gonna love it because we lifted her up enough to really deposit the color we need to, because had we have not used lift me up, we could have overlifted her. We give her that perfect bright blonde to able to add the Naked Glow on top to create this contrast, and her hair feels so healthy. That's the thing, is that it retains a lot of its health because of the lift me up and that air touch technique, being able to do the midlight and the highlight simultaneously in one spot, and that one panel really brings all this together. And that 5BB, can we talk about that? And you can look down through here where you can see that dark brown with the 5BB coming through in that contrast. This is beautiful. Karma, any last words? How do you feel? Do you love it?
I love it. I'm ready for fall.
I'll leave my links below for my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Follow my music on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all that stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff, but subscribe for God's sakes. Click that bell, thumbs up, leave comments below, and tell me what you want to see next, because this is my favorite brunette I've done on my channel, and that's a fact, period. There you go. Talk to you soon. Thank you, bye.
You are now tuned into the sound of God Tang.